Welcome in or welcome back. If this is your first time here, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you are coming back, welcome back. We're here this time to talk about the new Chris Rock-led Saw trailer. And I have never been a fan of the Saw franchise. I liked the first one, but didn't really keep up with the movies after that very much. Not really my brand of movie, not something I normally really get into, but this, I have to say, looks like no expense at all has been spared. This looks very, very well executed. And it also looks like Seven, Training Day, and Fight Club all mashed up and had a baby. Seven in the palette in which this movie is filmed, as well as the setup of these scenes that every time that they are entering what looks to be a crime scene, it has a very Seven vibe to it, as well as the a lot of the gore that looks to have already been completed at the time where we are coming across it, versus the Saw franchise, which is very much gore porn, right? Gore pornography. Looks like Training Day in that you've got a naive youngster joining the force, which I guess is in Seven as well. But it's a naive, maybe white guy. Hard to say, but someone that looks white enough, I guess. And it looks like Fight Club in that that looked like a Project Mayhem type of nefarious group that was stalking the halls of what looked to have maybe been a hotel there, that ended up opening, I think it was an elevator door and shooting in very quickly. I'm not sure exactly what was going on there, but also the fact that these people seem to be tagging the areas in which they are executing these crimes. You notice the spiral that is come to be indicative of the Saw franchise that was spray painted on a brick wall in this trailer. Past that, I've got a prediction for where this is going to go, but I'm going to save that for the end of this thing because I don't want to look like an ass up front. Chris Rock here, however, looks 30 years old, and he looks badass. I never, in my wildest dreams, imagined being convinced by a trailer that Chris Rock was a hardened investigator. Never. Never in my life would I have imagined that. But here we are, and it looked great. Samuel L. Jackson. Chris Rock looks badass as well. I mean, would you ever have imagined Chris Rock as a horror / maybe action star? Never in my life. Samuel L. Jackson here looks a lot, I've got to say it, like Samuel L. Jackson in everything you've ever seen. $10 says his character is quote-unquote about to retire, however, and that is where we find him in this predicament. Just one more point before I get to what I imagine is going to be a spoiler for this movie. Spiral from the Book of Saw. Spiral from the Book of Saw. Is this setting these movies up not as a Saw franchise, but as a genre? Something like a parable, maybe, or a fable? Short tales that have a moral at the end of them. Is that what this is? And to some extent, that's what the Saw franchise has always been. But perhaps, specifically with the police and violence towards police overtones, maybe this is getting at something a little more directly in that vein. It would be refreshing, I think, perhaps, compared to where the Saw franchise had led off towards, but definitely something that would be different in Hollywood in general. I don't know the budget on this thing, but I can't imagine it having been over $100 million. So if you're able to crank out movies like this for 80, flip them, and earn twice your money or so, that would be an interesting little franchise / genre to keep up. Mightn't it? Especially when, hey, I have to imagine that simply seeing Chris Rock in this role and looking like he's pulling it off as he is, you've sold any number of people. I'm going to be in the theater because of that. I would have had... You put 99% of other actors in that role, I still don't want to see this movie. Probably. But I definitely want to see if Chris Rock pulls this off. So if you can set this genre / franchise up as something which is extremely experimental in that way, I think you've got something fresh and refreshing on your hands. But I think I've already figured it out. I think I've probably already figured this movie out. You've got the newbie on the force who happens to be there as this Project Mayhem type cult with a leader like Tyler Durden, mysterious and pretty funny in the Saw guy, running around. And now, all of a sudden, this nefarious group, this Project Mayhem type group, is targeting police officers. Do you remember the very beginning of this trailer, where the new guy is in the car with Chris Rock and he's showing off that picture of his wife and his baby, his beautiful wife and his bouncing bundle of joy? I've got money saying that wife and that baby are already dead, and they are a victim of police / Chris Rock brutality and violence. I'm going to call it now. That's my shot. Hoping to hear what you think in the comments below.